Sephardic history, rabbinic history, and we're speaking about the yeshiva called Tiferet Yerushalayim, a famous, let's say, Eidut Mizrach yeshiva in Jerusalem, especially during the Ottoman time period itself, respectively. So we are an online, let's say, exploration encyclopedia on the great Oriental rabbis of yesteryear, and some of these great famous rabbis would have learned in this yeshiva. And now it was reported over to have been the largest and very important Sephardic yeshiva in Jerusalem, especially during the Ottoman time period. There were various great rabbis that would become Rishon LeTzion, let's say, chief rabbis of Israel. Among them included the famous Rabbi Chaim Avraham Gagin, who was a chief rabbi in Israel, in Jerusalem on his day. He was also the head of the famous yeshivat Bet-El in Jerusalem. So this was a very, very powerful position. And he happened to be part of this yeshiva. Also, another one we should mention is Rabbi Nissim Yehuda Danon, once again also a Rishon LeTzion in its period. He was, I believe, he passed away in the year 1930, and he would be the 34th Rishon LeTzion. I think he took over after Rabbi Moshe Yehuda Franco, and he was replaced by Rabbi Chaim Moshe Elisha, great rabbi of his time, and a rabbi I think that was we actually spoke about in a previous video over here. Another rabbi was obviously arguably one of the most famous in the Midinat Yisrael history, Rabbi Ben Zion Meir Chai Uziel, who I believe was chief rabbi between 1948 to 1953, Rishon LeTzion at that point in time. He was just a great rabbi, a thinker and a public leader, and very much a huge integral part. Now, there's different traditions regarding the date of the yeshiva's founding. When did it actually open up this yeshiva? Now, some people would say, historians, that the yeshiva itself is hundreds of years old. That's what some people will actually hold. And that throughout the Ottoman Empire time period, it was, let's just say, considered very important higher Torah educational framework in Jerusalem. This is what's reported over. I think this is what Nathan Ephrati actually will bring down in an article, I think, from the Bialik Institute, I think, which was written in the year 1999. But other sources indicate that it was established in the 1843, which would be nearly just over 180 years ago here from time of recording. It was next to a Talmud Torah that would precede it. And some people would hold that it was the second half of the 19th century. Tiferet Yerushalayim served as, let's say, a large and central yeshiva of the Sephardic settlement in Jerusalem, naturally. Now, I think come at the end of the 19th century, there will be huge amounts of renovations that will take place inside the yeshiva itself. But they would start teaching, I think, it's reported over, possibly more foreign languages and secular studies. So it sort of evolved a little bit. And they would incorporate some more secular studies in it. Now, I think there's a historian, some of the name, Pinchas Grayevsky, who was a writer and a documenter of Jewish life in Jerusalem. He would describe the yeshiva. I'll say it in English. It's a translation actually from Ivrit, from Hebrew. What he actually states. I'll say it first in Hebrew actually. B'yeshiva zo nichnasim ele asher ru'im liyot ba'atid morei ha'am. משרב יותר ויותר הן בתלמוד ופוסקים והן במדעים שונים דברי ימי ישראל מדע ושפת הארץ. And he continues. I'll just say what it means in a nutshell over there. He is basically stating over here, in this yeshiva, those who are worthy of becoming teachers of the people in the future, and increasingly, let's say, its leaders, both in poskim, Talmud, respectively, and in various, let's say, incorporating Jewish history, sciences, language of the land itself. This is what is actually stated over. Now, I think come what year, it was around 1894, the yeshiva would have as many as 400 Talmidim. It will be, and which absolutely, they see the scale of the yeshiva itself. Many boys would study in the Talmud Torah that operated as part of it also. It's reported over. And come what, I think around the year 1898, it would grow further. The yeshiva grew, and its peak, there was 600 Talmidim students, which is interesting. I think it was supported by funds from the Sephardic Community Committee in Jerusalem, and there was donations from Jewish communities all over the world. And I think there was a time period where there was financial difficulties. I think this was around the time period of the early part of the 20th century. In 1910, it was. And I think there was a Rabbi Mordechai Susa that was appointed, let's say, as Kabbalist of the cities of Morocco, and he would actually go out to establish and collect funds from these places. Interesting enough. Now, it was severely shaken during the First World War, and there'll be lack of donations coming in that point in time. And I think that would hit the yeshiva. I think Rabbi Yaakov Meir, who would be chief rabbi Rishon LeZion, I believe on a couple of occasions in Israel, attempted to rehabilitate the yeshiva, but there was only a smaller allocation of students, and they would actually there was a preference of the younger Sephardic generation to study, let's say, in more institutions of general and practical education. This would make it more difficult. It would be more of a hurdle. Now, the Sephardic, so that would, I think, come 1927, part of the yeshiva structure would also collapse. There was an earthquake in Jerusalem, and that would hit the Tiferet Yerushalayim Yeshiva, and then I think it would actually they would actually cease, if I'm not mistaken. And that's when the Teferet Yeshiva, you could say, was a success in so many ways, would actually bear fruit and come about at that point in time. They would follow a more conservative pattern, let's just say, in relation to the topic of modernity, respectively. But there's many articles within regards to, let's just say, this specific thing. You can see this has without doubt a huge integral part of Jewish history, because you can see many of the great rabbis would actually come from this, and very, very interesting enough. I think actually Rabbi Mordechai Swisser would actually go in the year 1910. That was in the month of Sivan, if I'm not mistaken. He's a rabbi I think we've spoken about on various occasions before inside this series, and just shows the importance of what a central point this yeshiva actually held in of itself. So I would recommend everyone to learn much more within regards to this specific institution. We've already spoken about the Yeshivat Porat Yosef inside this series already. We've spoken about various different institutions. Please, everyone, subscribe to the channel. We're a community here, and we're nearly on 7,000 subscribers, which is a phenomenal achievement. And just important how we're growing so much. We've covered already nearly about a staggering 1,000 biography videos of great rabbis of year, which is another important, as I say, extremely important feat, let's just say, which is absolutely brilliant. It's a breath of fresh air that we're able to cover all of this inside this series over here. Let's learn more about. And we're a community. We're learning about the great rabbis of yesteryear. We're not just doing this, we are also covering videos, let's just say, on Parshat HaShavua, daily Daf Yomi, as you can see, that we've done many of them. We've really came about in, we've evolved into spheres of different important topics, speaking about Jewish pride, Torah pride in of itself, and the greatness within regards to just everything about Judaism. That's what we are trying to speak about. And I think this yeshiva was very much connected also. We have close connections. Many of the yeshiva people go study in Bet El, Kabbalistic seminary in Jerusalem, will also study in Tiferet Yerushalayim in the 19th century. And very, very interesting. There were obviously two totally different yeshivot altogether, which we have to also point out. But I would recommend everyone to look at it. If anyone's interested in watching any of these videos, also just to add on, please share these videos to other people also. And we're a community. We love learning. And take care. I'm wishing you all a great day. Here from the city of Bet Shemesh